I'm a psychologist, and today I want to explain some reasons why some people struggle to control their emotions. So let's get started. So I'll cover three main reasons. So the first reason is age. So generally speaking, it becomes easier to control your emotions and regulate them the older you get. Now, here's something really interesting that I don't think people know. Men and women mature in terms of their brain, men and women mature at roughly the same rates. So in other words, women don't mature faster than men, or or the other way around, men don't mature faster than women in terms of frontal lobe development. Gender accounts for about 5% of the reason for brain maturation. If you wanted to know the factors that predict brain maturation the biggest, it's age, interestingly enough, the amount of education you're exposed to when you're younger, and IQ. A person with a higher IQ, their neuronal tracks tend to myelinate faster, and thus creating a more mature brain more faster. So, yes. So the reason why some people struggle to control their emotions, how this relates back, is because you might be placing too higher expectations on a young person to regulate themselves out in the real world. It would be unrealistic to expect anyone really below the age of 25, really, in this current day and age, to be able to totally emotionally regulate independently. As you get older, it becomes a little easier. There's no cut age, but generally speaking, the human brain for both genders tends to mature somewhere around the late 20s, depending on IQ and educational attainment. So, some people struggle to control their emotions because they're young and too much is being placed on them. So we have to give them a bit of leeway. Probably a bit of an unexpected reason, probably not what you were expecting me to say, but it's actually really important to recognize that age is really key for brain maturation and thereby emotional regulation. And it's important to recognize that sometimes you can be placing too many expectations on young people. Okay, so the next reason why is because the second reason why some people struggle to control their emotions is because they're so used to being elevated in high anxiety or high anger that they're actually not used to being back down into, I guess you could say, regular or nominal or functional baseline levels. So this is where they kind of need the support and care from a loved one to be able to redirect them down to levels that are actually useful and functional. Like, you don't really want to be sitting at 100 out of 100 anxiety all the time, but if you're so used to that, then it's going to be unusual for you to be really anywhere else. And the third reason that I think is really key why some people struggle to control their emotions is because they have unprocessed trauma or unprocessed issues in their mind. They might have had something happen to them a long time ago that they are still coming to terms with. They might be stuck in a world where they are not happy or pleased, so they're experiencing what's called cognitive dissonance, which is just a fancy way of saying they have two competing ideas in their mind. Usually they have an idea of who they want to be, and then they have who they currently are, and there's a lot of incongruence there where they want to be someone who's happy and successful, but they're in a world where they're not happy and successful, and therefore that creates a lot of internal tension and turmoil, thereby creating high levels of emotional dysregulation, which can be hard to control when you're stuck in your own mind. So anyway, there's some three reasons that I've come across in my clinical practice for why people struggle to control their emotions. There's plenty of other reasons, but I'm finding that these are some critical ones, so I thought that I would reflect that back to you, the viewer on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.